If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it is broke, debunk it. A third time. Sorry, Ken, I ran out of unique video ideas and the pile of bad escape rooms has grown since you've been gone. Every so often, I get sent an escape room from a fan to debunk, and my usual response is to send it in the Discord server. And, well, I think it's time I come back to that pile of deflections and humiliate them in front of the entire internet. Usually, I don't like to be so critical, but it's hard to be positive when years of teaching flies out the window. I went through the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I've been left speechless by the insane tech I needed to learn and the insane carelessness I had to exploit. Now the question still remains, did you learn anything after the last debunk? Nope, still no. So come with me on a trip, nay, a fall through some of the best and worst escape rooms I've been sent.
Oh, well, easy, debunked, done, thank you.
Okay, I'm just joking. Clearly the creator forgot to put me inside the escape room, so I'll just put myself back in there, and we'll go with that. In the first room, there was quite a lot. There was a trident, a furnace with some items in it, a hallway with hoppers and some armor, and a pearl. An ender pearl.
How convenient.
You know what, I'll give you a second chance. As long as there's not another massive oversight that could be exploited to escape the escape room, I'll be fine. I'll just use the ender pearl in the hallway, let's say, for no reason in particular. And let's just see what's under these hoppers, and oh look, it's quality assurance. Ken has gone over many of the rules of an escape room, but if I have to go over one, it's to safeguard every area that could possibly be reached by a player, even if they shouldn't be there. I was surprised by the amount of items I could collect by being out of bounds and then going back into bounds because no one thought you should be there. Always, and I mean always, assume the player is everywhere, because they will find everywhere to be. Also, just never give pearls in an escape room. At this point, if you don't know how to use them 100%, just don't give them. If you want me to add insult to injury, I found 5 other exits and netherite doors, and with the pistons from the netherite doors, I found 5 more exits I could do. But I did eventually get to an ending door and did it properly, so congrats. This escape room gets a 10 out of 10. Now you may be asking, Watto, how is it a 10? Well, it's because I found 10 methods of escaping besides the intentional one. The next escape room, however, is much more competently built and features 5 rooms that are revolving around the new Minecraft update, which I have not played at all. So this should be fun. Starting out, I am in a relatively claustrophobic room with literally nothing at my immediate disposal except some food and a single pale oak log. Now initially I was scared that I was going to have to learn how to escape with only a single log, but luckily there was one more item that if I broke the copper chest I would get a dragon egg. Well, all I have to go off of from this escape room is that there's an anvil and a grindstone in this room and a hopper above me, and that is quite literally it. I know like no glitches that could get me out of here, none that I could think of. And I honestly don't know what to do. So with no other options, I decided to break the hopper just in case there was anything behind it. And there was another hopper, and then another, and another. Wait a minute, there's a lever on this line of hoppers. Okay, after reloading this world, I have my line of hoppers back, and wow, would you look at that. This is the first puzzle where a solution being a hopper was somewhat creative and not just being in a hopper. That being said though, I only got boots and an enchanted book with Windburst 2 on it. Twice. I'll keep that in mind for later, but for now, there's nothing to Windburst off of, really. Okay, this is the first room in, and I'm still genuinely stuck. I have no items, and I can't find anything. After pacing around for 20 minutes, I realized I was a moron and have the dimensional analysis capacity of a toddler. If you've been yelling at your screen for the past minute, congratulations, you've been vindicated. Because if I would have used my brain a little bit more, I would have realized I could put myself into crawl mode to escape this space, which brings me to the next room that has 2 sticks, and that's everything. Yeah, if you thought I was stuck in the last room, no, look at this one. That's it. It's just 2 sticks and a crafting table. And I guess there's this armor stand, but I can barely reach it, and I can't collect it for anything. There's no hopper that I can reach. I'm not being hyperbolic, that's all I have. Trust me, I checked all the walls. There was nothing hidden behind them. If the armor stand was 1 block more forward, I would be able to wind charge off of it, since if you watched my spooky escape room, you'd know that a book enchanted with Windburst is different than a book with Windburst, so you can blast off an armor stand with it. That being said, my arms are too short to reach it. So, after an hour of trying to figure out what I was supposed to do, I caved and used one of my 3 hints. Yes, I have 3 hints, well, 2 now, but I found out what I needed to do. If you want to pause and guess, well, you've had plenty of time by now. But remember when I said this was an escape room made specifically to test your knowledge of new features, which I said I know nothing about? Well, yeah, I didn't know anything about it, and it turns out I can craft a spear with 2 sticks and a pale oak log, which extends my reach by just enough so I can windburst off the armor stand if I attribute swap. What is attribute swapping? Well, there is a long explanation, but I'll give you the short and simple of what it does, specifically in this escape room. The short and simple of it is I get my extended reach, but also the wind burst from the book I'm holding. It won't come up again in this video. If you want to learn more about it, there's plenty of good videos on YouTube for it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that took so long. Oh my gosh.
So anyway, with that being behind me, it takes me to the next room, which is an XP guiding puzzle, which I solved first try, not to brag. The core mechanic of this is that an XP orb can just follow you through walls, and using that with the lever from earlier, I could get this into a piece of string that activates a dispenser, which gives me... Oh. Look, I can't blame you for giving me a breeze rod because I had this exact same issue, but wind charges are insanely powerful. So if you give me a breeze rod, I can get 4 wind charges and fly out of this escape room. Now, I will give you credit, you blocked the entire roof with barrier blocks, but unfortunately for you, the wind platform is straight ahead if I backtrack to the previous room. And oh look, how convenient, a creative mode command block with, oh look, a wooden button. No, I'm not joking, this is in the actual escape room. And all I have to do now is just throw one of my wind charges at the button and yeah, I'm pretty much done. I get creative mode so I can fly out of here. And there was actually 3 other methods I found of escaping without just throwing it at the button, but they took a little longer for me and they didn't really fit in this video, but you can see them in the background. And I'm sure this escape room is really cool, but always be careful with what you give to people to use, as sometimes the intended solution isn't always the obvious solution. Some people will take risks that you, the creator, would never ever take. And in this case, I took a big risk and it paid off completely. This escape room gets a 3 out of 10, with 3 of course meaning W for wind charge. But that's all I can say for this escape room as my time's quickly running out. Because I have to segue into the next part of this video. I have 2 points so far. That's right, yeah, I'm keeping score. You see, the point of this video is to debunk escape rooms, correct? So for every escape room I'm able to cheese or debunk, I gain a point. But for every one I can't debunk, I lose a point. If I end up with a positive score by the end of this video, I will have 1, and my current score right now is 2. And at the very end, I have 3 escape rooms created by Bordyoshi from the Blocked In Escape Room Discord server, which is a specialized team of people to make the hardest escape rooms you could possibly make, play tested and vetted through many people in the community. So the likelihood of me debunking any of them is highly unlikely, so I better hope I have enough score before I get there. But with that out of the way, let's get to the next escape room, which I'm sure will not have the same issues. We start off in a relatively large room with a oak slab above us. Okay then. I'll just ignore that for now. Looking around the room, I found a hopper with gold boots, a book with feather falling forward and cursive binding on it, a hidden barrel with a glistening melon, and a brewing stand with an awkward potion. On the east side of the escape room, we have a zombie holding an experience bottle in front of an anvil named Zucchini. Alright then, we're starting off pretty weird. Honestly, the escape room really isn't discreet with its solution. It's pretty obvious you need to make an instant health potion to kill the zombie, because we do have weakness 6, and you can't damage anything when you have that high of a weakness level. I think that's a pretty cool little feature they added. And after we kill the zombie, we can enchant the golden boots with the feather falling book and fall down to the room below us. Now, in this room, it seems like we have a nitwit and a nether portal, and that's it. So there's nothing we can do in here, but if we go to the nether, and I hope there's something useful on the other side. Oh wow, I'm surprised, the leading sentence actually led to something. We have a lovely little puzzle where I let suspicious sand fall into a cobweb, and once it despawns, it drops it as an item so we can scale up. How neat is that? Not every day do you get to make it this far in an escape room without a sign of something being like completely cheesable. Anyway, what do I do with the chest and sand now that I have it? Oh well, how could I be so blind? Clearly, I just need to go in the hole with the arrows leading into it. How could I be so... Oh. Oh no. Well, it could be worse. The walls could be only 1 block thick and... Oh, they are 1 block thick. Okay. Well, at least they have an outer wall, so hopefully that is a bit thicker. Oh wait, it isn't an outer wall? That's just world edited terrain? So you're telling me if I just... Okay, so I can boat clip out of this escape room again. And yeah, we escaped in the nether. All right, I give up. Time is a circle and I'm in hell. And we have learned nothing in the past 4 years. The worst part about this is I could do the exact same thing in the overworld. And there's nothing changed. If you don't know what I just did, let me break it down for you really quick. Boats in Minecraft are extremely broken. Broken to the point where if you just place a boat at the right angle, you can phase through a wall with it. That is why it's imperative that you make all your escape room walls at least 3 blocks thick as a rule of thumb. But in any sense, you had 2 opportunities to fix your mistake, and both times you failed in the exact same position. But anyway, for old time's sake, this gets an 8 out of 10, and obviously 8 stands for boat. Okay, the next escape room I have on my list is called Concept Escape Room, and it's honestly, well, it's really bare bones. In the first room, we just have 1 oak log, and in the second, we just have a piston with a redstone block to the side of it. I used that piston to get into crawl mode with a bit of cosmic connectivity, or whatever's happening here. Someone better at redstone in the comments, go yell at me, I don't care. Then I crawl into the next room and collect a wood plank, and the final room has a dirt in it. Thus far, this escape room just has a lot of crawling in it, nothing too crazy. If I crawl all the way back to the first room and replace the wood plank with the dirt, I can then craft slabs with this hidden crafting table and scale out of the escape room with the planks, and then use the piston finally on this redstone block here to escalate myself further up. And finally, I'm on the wind platform. That was pretty easy. But unfortunately for me, I couldn't find any way to cheese this or debunk this. It's just far too simple. And sometimes the simplicity is what makes the best defense for a debunk. I really wish I had a slider to show the relationship between the complexity of an escape room and the time spent de-cheesing it. But that's far too much editing for me, so I'm just gonna give this a 0 out of 10 because I couldn't debunk it at all. Anyway, next escape room. All right, so this one, there was no information on this one at all. I have no idea what to expect, what to look for. This was just sent to me by a guy named Professor Loganberry. I don't know the quality. I don't know the scope. I don't know anything about this. So I'm worried a bit, just a little bit. This could be fine. This could also be my IP address. The answer is I'm in creative. So yeah, this is great. Well, oh my gosh, wait. Okay, well, they have given, oh no. Please be petrified. They're not petrified. Look, I'm sorry, but like, do I really want to do this? Do I have to be this mean? I don't want to be mean. Oh, come on, okay. No, you can't do this to me. You can't do this to me. 2 of them. You give me the materials to make a boat and an ender pearl? And you're giving me water? Oh no! Oh Lord! Oh no! Look, I don't know. I didn't think there could be a trifecta. Oh, there's a lantern at least. I didn't think all 3 things could come together. Hold on. That's a lantern. Thank you. Yeah, they made it so you can drop lanterns. I didn't think I would meet an escape room that would have all 3 things. Now, at least there is not a bucket. Okay, you've got to be shitting me. Like, I don't mean to be mean, but it... I'm sorry, I just... What does this do? What is it here? I beg your pardon? Look, I can ignore the boat. I can ignore the ender pearl. I can even ignore the water bucket, but I cannot ignore a gaping hole in your escape room. I'm so sorry. There's so many ways I can cheese this, and this isn't even the beginning. And for this one, I give, like, I don't know, a D-. It barely constitutes as an escape room. It's better defined by a box that you have many options to get out of if you wanted to. But hey, I'll take a free point. Oh, cool, boss music. Anyway, if you watched Kenadian's debunking video, you may remember that the last escape room and how it was hyped up to be the hardest thing in the video, requiring hours of attempts and a high bar of skill to do. And I just got a mini version of it. Now, this isn't from Doctor Who Kobe, but the puzzle has similar concepts. But instead of you having a little room to start in, you start in this, a 3x1x1 room. That's all. There's no more wiggle room, and you have to escape it. I do, actually. This is quite possibly the hardest escape room that I have ever played, and I literally haven't even broken a single block yet. So thank you, Biggerer, for one of the hardest escape rooms that I have ever played, and has spent way too much time on it. So the core mechanics of this escape room is to phase through the blocks, as the title implies, in different ways and methods. If you're unfamiliar with the concept, to put it easily, when you are lodged in a block in Minecraft in crawl mode and you log out, the game makes you stand up once you log back in. One of the easiest ways to lodge yourself in a block is by simply closing a gate on yourself, and wow, look, you can't crawl. But if you are crawling when you first got into it, you stay crawling, or crouching, or whatever state you're in, even if the top block is removed that puts you in that mode. This mechanic allows you to phase through solid blocks if you are lodged inside of them and then log off, and it allows you to go through even the most durable blocks such as bedrock. Now, the first room gives you 10 oak planks, and normally this would be a terrible idea since you can make a boat, but as you could probably guess, this room is far too small for anyone to place anything in it. I can craft a crafting table, and that leaves me with 6 planks, and I have the option to make a lot of things still. But with the boat out of the picture, the second most powerful thing I can think of is a trapdoor, because that puts me into crawl mode and I can get lodged inside of it. So what I did was this complicated steps of movement in order to preserve all my items by placing 2 trapdoors and a crafting table, breaking the crafting table to preserve the blocks, breaking the bottom trapdoor in midair, replacing it with a wood plank, then eventually traversing up and clipping myself into a trapdoor. And at this point, I can finally disconnect and reconnect to find myself in, you guessed it, a room that's 1 block smaller. Yeah, it's getting way worse before it gets any better. Luckily, this room isn't that bad, surprisingly. All I had to do is place the trapdoor on the ceiling and do a 1-tick jump and place a wood block under me while I was crawling. You see? Completely simple. After clipping to the next room, I realized the severity of the situation, as I see 2 oak slabs and a sand block. How do I know this is 2 slabs? Well, I'm recording this in post, and also the save states I made. Up until this point, I haven't mentioned it, but the people over at Blocked In aren't just evil scientists who make sadistic escape rooms. They're smart evil scientists who make sadistic escape rooms. You see, they didn't want their test subjects to suffer too badly. No! They would make them quit. Instead, they give you 3 save states to work with and experiment with in order to give you the most amount of flexibility to suffer and dangle the taste of victory right in front of you. How kind and benevolent of them. Regardless of that, this room was difficult. In fact, it was 2 hours of difficulty. If you would like to try it for yourself, be my guest. The invite link to Blocked In is in the Discord. Go search for it. But oh my gosh, this took so long. I looked up tutorials to glitches I never thought existed, and I'd like to think I'm pretty well versed in Minecraft. Then my attention once again turned to Kenadian and Doctor Who Kobe. I remember seeing something vital in Ken's video that I remembered. One of the puzzles from Doctor Who Kobe's gauntlet was a puzzle with 1 sand, 1 stair, and a slab. Now, unfortunately for me, I only have 2 slabs and a sand, but I feel like there might be a clue for me to learn here. You see, what Ken did in their map was locking their hitbox by dropping a piece of sand in it. The part I forgot, however, was this escape room requires very tight timing. That wasn't an allowance, it was a hint, or maybe I'm illiterate. Either way, I forgot how precise timings have to be in a clipping escape room. Phasing escape room, I don't know, I don't really care. So, to my knowledge, if I were to do this at regular speed the entire time, I would be getting nowhere because it simply isn't possible to do with any delay involved. I had to be perfect. The bar of expertise was never higher. So, what do you do when your standards are insanely high? You lower the bar way lower, like to the floor. Sorry if I'm not skilled enough for you, I just don't have that fine of a motor skill. I used the tick rate command to slow down the game time to make it more achievable for me. However, it should be noted, the game tick function does not alter the actual escape room at all, it just makes things for tight timings much easier. So this run is still valid in my eyes. Anyway, with that being said, I realized the solution to my problem is once again crawl mode, but how? I don't have my trapdoors anymore. Well, here's how it happens. I'm explaining it, sit tight. I first crouch on a slab and drop a piece of sand into the open slot in front of me, then quickly walk back into the first block where the sand is. If the sentence convoluted, that it's because it very much is. This all happens within less than a second, and once my hitbox is stuck in that sand while crouching, I need to log off in order to make the game force me to stand, and I get put in crawl mode on top of the sand because the game thinks that I'm on top of the sand block, but I should be also standing. It's very weird. Now, would you believe me if I told you that was the easy part? Because now I need to go do the stuff that I've been missing. In only a few milliseconds of real game time, I had to fall off the side of the sand block onto the slab and place a slab above me while falling. And if I fail this, I just go back into regular crouching and I have to redo the entire setup. But if done right, however, I will remain in crawl mode between the 2 slabs, which is vital to the final piece of this little puzzle. And the final step I need to do is to break the sand and replace it again and get myself inside of it just like before, but in between the slabs this time. Then I break the slab above me and place it above the sand because finally I need to disconnect again. Once I rejoined, I became standing again, and then I jumped twice in order to elevate myself into the next room. and we are finally not done. I'm kidding, I'm not doing that again. This is only room 3 of 6. The next room contains a lever, an iron door, and a trap door. And if you can believe it, I think I actually have an idea of how to get up this time. Now, it isn't the most straightforward, but if you remember, you can get into crawl mode with a gate, and with the iron door, I can lock my hitbox on the ground. With that same gate, I can open it, walk inside halfway between the door and the gate, close the gate to lock my hitbox, and jump, then close the door to elevate myself. The final step is to re-grab the fence gate and lever and disconnect to clip me into the roof and into the next room. This is so convoluted because a gate's hitbox is 1.5 blocks tall and not 1, so if I were to just jump into it, it wouldn't do anything, I wouldn't escalate. So I needed the iron door to assist me to get up higher, because its hitbox splits in half. Room 5, I'm honestly just really embarrassed about because it took me an hour, despite the solution being really similar to room 4's solution, but just in a 3x1x1 space this time. This time it's just with a wood door. I don't know why I had so much trouble with that. Now the only thing that stands between me and escaping is room 6. The hardest puzzle in the escape room that has already taken over 3 hours to finish. Now, the final room was a true test of skill and harnessing what you've learned in the previous rooms. So I fully expect this to take another few hours. I got it in under 3 minutes. Yeah, honestly, the solution was just crouching on a slab while putting 2 fence gates in your hitbox and jumping out. No crawl glitches, no janky sand hitboxes, just one step. Kind of underwhelming for a final puzzle of this caliber, but it's most likely the only place where it fits, so I can't really knock him for that. This was honestly an amazing escape room, and I have to give props to Biggerer because this was truly a test of my knowledge of Minecraft and something I really never learned about. And for that, I have to give you a 1 of 10 for your score, because the 1 is the lever that I managed to sneak into the winner's room. Get it? Because it looks like a lever, and like, you know, it's a 1 out of 10 because I couldn't debunk anything, so I don't get a good score for it. Yeah, I'm taking the loss. The next escape room comes from a friend of mine and fellow YouTuber. They make shorts. You may remember them from one of my previous debunking videos as a guest, but this time they are the debunkee. The debunked? I don't really know. Either way, this is the Snowpit escape room. From the looks of it, the solution is pretty obvious to me off the bat. 8 snow and a pumpkin. I mean, we're making a snow golem. I don't think that's hard at all. And then I'll mine my way back down, and you know, the shorts creators don't give me haste, unlike the blocked in people, but you know, I manage. Crafting table. Oh shit. We have a crafting table. Gonna place it up there this time. Then we're gonna make our iron nuggets. Not iron nuggets, you know what I mean. Iron shovel, and we get 2 snow. And oh, I have to shear this guy. Oh, I'm a moron. This time I made a wood shovel, because I wouldn't have enough to shear this if I made a iron one, and then we shear this, and then I mine this, and then no block, and we do this. I'm not gonna forget to shear you, because that's something I would forget. All right, and I'm gonna, you know, murder you in cold blood. All right, 14 snow blocks. Alrighty, and oh, am I missing something? Got 1 snowball left. This is all the items, right? Yeah. All right, that's not that bad. I'll just make a. I'll do it again. Okay, seriously? Seriously? Really? We're doing that? Okay, fine. Jeez. What? How do I beat this? All right, so I'm just a little annoyed. I'm going to go ask RNGs for a hint because I don't have too many losses under my belt, and I think I could cheese this one if I knew how it worked, or maybe the solution, because if it's not this, I don't know what it is. It has to be something more complicated or more techy, I guess. So you're telling me I spent an hour on this simplistic looking escape room trying to find some deeper meaning? There was nothing? You moron! You idiot! Why do all you people do is torment me with your little escape room? Oh wait, I can obstruct my spawn and cheese the entire escape room. That's easy. This escape room gets a 1 out of 10 because that's how many hints I have left because of it. I honestly have never done a puzzle box. Not any of this sort at least, and quite frankly, I'm terrified. I mean, look at this thing. No, I mean inside. Look at it from the inside. There is so much stuff here. I'm not even lying to you when I say this would probably take me like 40 hours to complete. for context, the puzzle box is very similar to an escape room. It just lets you explore and investigate in spectator mode and correct RNG mistakes with commands. So it's a lot more freeing than an escape room, but that means that some puzzles can be insanely difficult because you get full range of motion and investigation. But lucky for me, I have experience with the previous escape rooms, and I think if it weren't for the previous escape rooms, I wouldn't even be able to do the first puzzle. Because you see, the first room in this escape room uses our favorite item, an iron door and a piece of sand. Luckily, I have a lot more room here to work with than the previous escape room, and I'm given a shulker box as well to make my life easier. And after a few attempts, I eventually got into a rhythm that I can get through the hole in the wall. Now, it's slightly different from the phaser escape room, but it still follows the same principles and understanding that I needed to get through this. In this next room, I have to bring to you guys a new bit of escape room lore, and you can't see it as a viewer, but this entire room is filled with moving piston blocks. Now that might sound insane, but in layman's terms, that just basically means it's air that prevents you from placing anything in it. Trust me when I say I'm trying to place anything in this room. I'm right-clicking a ton. But since it's filled with moving pistons, it doesn't let me place anything anywhere that they don't want me placing it in. Which means I'm pretty much forced with this puzzle to use my shulker box to destroy the item frame, because if you did not know, an item frame can be destroyed with a shulker box if it expands, or I mean, you open it, I don't know, like, you know, the chest, never mind. Point being, the shulker box can destroy the item frame. And if I inverse place the shulker box, I can open it up and destroy the item frame to dispense an item. I will say the transition from room 2 to 3 is pretty fun though. It uses the fact that pistons can push and pull carpet, but when a carpet's lifted off the ground, it breaks, obviously. Then the bad things start to happen. Look, I really did try. I wanted to, but I was heading up on 4 hours now. And I'm only on the third room. And honestly, this was just not a good pace. And, you know, everyone can see it, honestly. If you're watching this, you can see it. So I went as far as I could, which was this room. And I just started referring to the solution video. And after going off of the solution video for a bit, I realized that the solution video is an hour long. It took the creator an hour to beat the escape room, and they knew every puzzle. If the solution to this puzzle takes an hour, this would take me 40 hours, minimum. So I'm flying my white flag. I can't do this one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you wanted to see me suffer through this, but if this video gets, I don't know, like 1 million views, maybe I'll do it on my second channel. But for the sake of this video, it's not worth it. So you win. You get a 10 out of 10. You debunked me. On to the next escape room. Alrighty. Let's do Hydrodynamics. It's the first, not the first. It's just the randomest one I picked. I'm gonna be honest. Oh, okay. Oh, we're falling. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh, wait. There's a, all right. What an interesting start to an escape room. And I can't break this, I assume. I'm going to turn on full bright. Oh, interesting. Sorry, I have visible barriers on. It seems like, okay. So this is a shulker. I don't know what that does for me. The fact that they're a shulker. There is a glass here. Well, I could just do this because these break with your fist. If you did not know, I know this fact. Oh, there was a bone meal on it. Could have gotten that without breaking it. Oh wait, this is another shulker. That's why the water's going through. Interesting. Is everything supposed to be leaking? So I can go into swim mode here. This escape room is called Hydrodynamics, so I'm assuming it has to do with some like weird hydrodynamic thing. Oh wait, oh my gosh, wait, I did it. I don't know how I did it. I did it. I didn't know if it was intentional, but oh, come on. A water bucket? Okay, well, let me be honest. If you give me a water bucket, I'm very, let's just say this is a crazy thing to give. Let's go up here. Let's see what we got here. Yes, that is I seem to have ghost bucketed my stuff. And it seems like there's nothing down there. Wow. Point of no return, I guess. I'm curious what they got going on up here. Now, I'm not one to really... Oh, nope, they did right. They did good. They made sure to use some... Wait, I completely missed this. Oops. Now, I'm sorry to take you out of the live narration, but what I did not realize in the moment was I had just found the biggest cheese that had been overlooked, possibly ever, in this escape room, and it's the fact that you can actually swim in this water. Now, the creator took a lot of care in making sure there was a shulker box on top of anything that could possibly let me swim in it. As you can see, these two have shulker boxes over them, so I can't swim in them, and this one has it covered up. But this right here has nothing, and it's my belief that the creator thought you couldn't swim here. But if you crouch at the right angle, you can, as you saw in the video. Now, it's my assumption that you needed the seagrass or the bone meal or the sponge to get the water bucket that's over here, causing you to sacrifice more items. But even if they didn't, they give me 2 water source blocks, and I think that is a very dangerous thing to give me. Because as you can clearly see here, I can very quickly make an infinite water source block, and I'll be able to bring some water from down there too. But this is only the first piece of the puzzle, because when one domino falls, they all fall. You see, this cauldron puzzle would be a good puzzle if it weren't for the item frame that they gave us earlier, because I don't even need to fill all the water buckets or lava buckets or whatever they are. If I break the center cauldron, I could just put an item frame there and skip the need to use anything. The next domino in line is this little anvil puzzle that I'm coming up on, that you're meant to lose the anvil or at least have it stuck here, or you're supposed to wait until you are deleting this this button right here. That was a jumble of words, but point being, if I just look up and break the button this way, ignore the damage. Almost died, but you guys got the point. We can save both the anvil and the button. Well, I mean, the button is inherent, but like, you know, we can save the anvil too. And then once we collect that, we can head deeper into the escape room, and then we go to the end of this room using the conduit and anvil to break a piston by using a button to keep it activated. However, if I'm being honest, I didn't really even need to do that. I could just break it by making sure there's an air block behind it. And then as an extra cherry on top, I decided to use my items that I've collected to block phase through the side of the escape room. Specifically this tunnel that only had 1 block thick walls so I can go through the top, which luckily the creator had foresight and decided to keep walls on the outside as well. But they left a shulker box inside of a shulker box for me to take with a bundle that had an item that said don't spawn me or whatever. But lucky for me, I didn't really need that anyway. I was just looking for the shulkers. So now all I needed to do was item elevate the items back into the escape room with item frames, and then die to the guardian that's sitting out in the open. I gotta say, I think that might have been my most devious cheese in a while. And by no means, this is not a bad escape room, it's just a little sloppy in some edges. Then all I had to do was bone meal some water so seagrass spawned and made water source blocks, and piston the waterlogged slab high enough so that I can fill over the entire empty nether portal. Then I take the lava from this part of the escape room and place it in the portal, which was all relatively trivial for me, except for the part where I forgot you can piston waterlogged slabs. I needed help with that part. Thank you, random person on YouTube. Easy. Alrighty. What? You're making me use my sponge. And after all of that, I got taken to a netherite piston door. Now, to their credit, they tried to safeguard it as much as possible so that no one could break through it. However, that strategy only works if you don't have any blocks, and especially a block that's immovable. Like a conduit, which cannot be put— oops, I shouldn't have done that. No worries, I solved it anyway and cheesed it again. Wow, this conduit is really powerful. I feel kind of bad. I think they were hoping no one would read this sign, but I'm entirely inside the wiring now. And for this escape room, despite me completely obliterating it, I think I'll only give it a 3 out of 10 on the cheesability scale. Because this time the 3 means water. I will be honest, I'm glad I didn't find any boats in this escape room though. And I'm sure I won't find anything of cheesability in the next 3 escape rooms, because it turns out I'm onto Board Yoshi's Gauntlet. Yes, I'm stealing Ken's naming conventions. I have no other unique ideas left. So anyway, I think I should stop stalling. Let's get to what you're really here for. My suffering. 3 escape rooms separate me and victory. 3 of the hardest to cheese types of escape rooms are set in front of me, and if I can cheese just one of them, I will have won. But if not, I'm afraid I've lost to a childhood video game character. I have 1 hint left on the counter and as much time as I need in the world. The reason that these escape rooms are so hard to debunk or cheese is because an escape room with no walls is devoid of the typical debunks like having a boat to clip through a wall or scaling down or up a wall with blocks. It's also extremely minimalistic too, as we've seen with previous escape rooms, those proved to be extremely challenging to cheese. In fact, I failed with the last one. And last but not least, this is a product of Blocked In, and this isn't something new. These have been playtested by the one and only Doctor Who Kobe, which I have alluded to many times, but is well known for being extremely clever and having an insane game sense. And the cherry on top is Board Yoshi is an insane escape room creator, combining logic with game features to make puzzles that stump even the most seasoned veterans. And this is all to say I have to complete all 3 of them, and I don't think stalling any longer is going to do me any good. So let's begin with Shooting Stars. Shooting Stars is the largest and most complicated of the 3 escape rooms, in my humble opinion, just from looks, and that's why I chose it to be the first one on this list. Mostly because I thought I would have the most difficulty, and understandably so, because if I were to use my last hint, it would have to be here. Some important ground rules about this escape room is that there is no RNG, nor is there any real tight timings. In fact, the game enforces no RNG by making all blocks that drop directly into the center of the block and at a constant speed downward. So there's no randomly picking up a carpet from one block up. Unfortunately for me, I was nearly completely unfamiliar with the mechanic at hand. It involved 2 hanging signs and a scaffolding, and I had no idea what to do. And when I mean no idea, I genuinely mean no idea. I was on this puzzle for nearly an hour, but eventually I did come to my senses, and I tried to think logically rather than thinking about game mechanics. See, I realized that you can pick up a block from 1 block away when it's falling into the void, but not 2 blocks, and that's the hard limit. And this setup is what I'm currently stuck on. It took me a while to see it, but I can actually reach that scaffolding without losing any blocks. Initially, I thought it was impossible, but that was because I was only thinking 1 dimension. When in reality, I have 2 dimensions. Ignore the 3rd for now, it's not important. I failed to see that I can take the hanging signs and stack them on each other on the rightmost glass block to get it 1 block up so I can pick it up instead of 1 block at floor level where I wouldn't be able to pick it up, which let me be able to pick up the scaffolding without losing any items. But that was just the first part of multiple parts of this puzzle. My next challenge is getting this sign, and although it looks impossible, I can assure you it is very much possible because otherwise I wouldn't have been sent this escape room. My initial solution was robust and kind of haphazard as it destroyed the entire bridge upwards, which I thought was a terrible idea, but it was the only way I saw forward. And so, stuck and tunnel visioned on that idea, I spent nearly an hour and a half working through it to see if I can make some of it work. And to my dismay, this would never work. I needed help. I needed someone to tell me where to go. So after several hours of just stumbling around and hoping to find something worthwhile, I folded and actually asked for a hint this time. Board Yoshi was kind enough to give me multiple leading questions and guides, but I asked for so many this time I thought it was only fair to consider it a hint. And besides, I have 2 more escape rooms, so how likely is it that I can't cheese at least one of them? On the bright side, now you know all the mechanics of how these escape rooms work, and I can take you to one that I hopefully don't need as much help on. Oh my god. 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 Wait. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Wait. I have to do this right. Okay. Please. Yes. Save. I've never been this joyous to save. I don't know what to do now, though. Unluckily for me, I had another hour left of playing this escape room. But I won't make you sit through it. And if you really want to play it, I recommend going to the description and joining the Blocked In Discord to play it yourself. This took me 4 hours, and I had a hint. Several hints, but we're counting it as 1 hint, because it's 1 escape room. Oh my lord. I needed to be handheld so much. This was... Oh my gosh. The next escape room is, in my opinion, the simplest and easiest to understand of the 3. It is the Awe of Space, and I chose this one next because it is the second most likely to have a debunk. The only issue is it's so simple. I don't think there really is much wiggle room to find anything unique. But we don't know until we try, so let's not waste any more time and get into this escape room. You fucking dare. I like that. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Got a little bit of parkour. I see. Okay, now I could do this. And this. And that. Okay. Alright, and then we do this. Oh. Huh. I see. No!
Wait. There. And this. And then this. And then this. Damn. Okay. Hold on. Like, look at this. I could break this. I could break it. Like, that's not, I think, within the spirit of the challenge. You know, I feel like I'm playing Super Mario Galaxy when I look off into, like, further areas and I see that stuff. Okay. What if I do break this? Like, there is no RNG, but, is this technically RNG? I can't even tell if this is RNG. Is it slightly RNG, but, like, not, like, really RNG? I don't know. There's a reason this is a full block. No, because if I do this, same issue. Same exact thing. It's gonna happen. Like, if I were to stand over this, it wouldn't be RNG. It would be RNG. That's what no. I'm gonna do this, see if it gives me any ideas. We'll do this too. Why not? Yeah, no, I have nothing. One E step all the way up here. I mean, I have no reason to do that. Okay, because look, I could do something. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to do it. Because, hey. What's the worst thing that happens? Because look, I could do this. This does technically work, I think. I want to show you all my thought process. Oh, it's a hanging sign. I'm dumb. Maybe it can't do it. Maybe I can't. Even though I thought I could, I can't. Yeah, because it goes every other thing, and that makes it impossible for me to have anything to jump on. Will only get me as high. What if I don't think conservative? Because I don't want to break this. If I do, I can't do anything with it. Is this considered RNG? Oh fuck. Is this considered RNG? Yeah, that's considered RNG. Seems like it. Shucks. This does nothing. I think it's really clever, but also equally frustrating. Can, however, do this. Now I'm at the same height level. That doesn't do anything for me. So do something like this? But then that makes absolutely no sense. 0 sense to be had there. Let's see what happens if I have all my stuff. 2 planks, a repeater, a white carpet. It feels so clearly that it's supposed to be here. I can get the hanging sign. But it doesn't do anything for me. Okay, let's look at this again. If I had the block that was here, that'd be good. I don't, though. I think this is required. Block is valuable. I think it's also a trick. Okay. We have all of the stuff now. We have our hanging sign. It's a redstone repeater. Oak slab. I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! Okay, great. Alright, I'm not insane. Perfect. I did it! I think that was intentional though, but so it doesn't count as a cheese, but I did it.
I have now completed a Bored Yoshi escape room without a hint. Although that wasn't a cheese or a debunk, it was a step in progress, and it leads me to more knowledge that I didn't have before. Which honestly makes me a lot more confident for the last puzzle. The aforementioned hardest puzzle. Having a player such as Doctor Who Kobe even confused at what to do. But it's the one I think has the most potential to be cheesed. And this is Lantern Festival version 2. How is this gonna look? Ooh. 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 Yeah, this isn't fun. Oh, there's a glass down there. Why? Why is there a glass down there? Why is there a glass down there? I don't like this. I don't like it at all. You know what? We're gonna do this. Let's be rash, okay? Let's just be rash. Let's just go for everything we want. Fuck me then, okay. On this ride, I decided to try something different, like what I've been doing with the narration over the past 3 escape rooms. Sorry, I'll stop breaking the fourth wall. Anyway, my plan was simple. Map out a possible solution to the escape room and work backwards from there. Now, this may have added an extra hour into my attempt, but luckily you guys don't have to watch any of it. All of my time and effort got condensed into one picture. My goal was to find a way to get to this picture by any means, or possibly get to the top of this little glass bridge one way or another. I don't know how possible it was altogether, but I did know one crucial, critical detail, and it was that I could not lose a single item or I would be soft locked, since the amount of items needed to escape is exactly the amount in the escape room.
I broke the complete wrong block. Okay, then we do this. Oh, don't know why I did that. Saving this. Look, we are here. So let's remember how far we can break these things. Around that far. Okay. Will I be able to pick this up? No. Let's just try catch. Oh, okay. I got the white carpet. Give me a second chance. Give me a second chance. I forgot how to do this jump. Okay, that's how you do the jump. Okay, good. Y'all, am I cooking? Am I cooking? I might be cooking. I feel so smart right now. It could be fake smart. But like, I feel smart. I could be smart. The gears are turning. The cogs are shifting. The devil's telling me to buy apples. Why should I buy apples? I got the lantern. What am I supposed to do to you? Okay, that's fine though. I can handle a little bit of disbelief. Yeah, is that I need to get up here and over there. How do I do that though? Unless I have to go there first. In which case, I am left with more questions than answers.
And thus began my secondary quest, my attempt to possibly go to the other lantern before I destroy that lantern that I'm looking at. Because I realized the lantern that I was just looking at is crucial to finding the lantern that is behind the lantern that I'm looking at. And if you're blind, I'm very sorry for being not cognizant of your existence. But this whole 3-dimensional space thing is new to me too. Every neuron was firing at once when I was thinking about this because I realized it would be impossible to get the 2 lanterns before I got the lantern that's furthest. It seems like the most infeasible, but it turns out it was completely possible in the end. How do I get there? Well, I don't find it out right now, but I do know it's part of the solution. That is if I choose to do the intended solution.
Yeah. Alright. So, idea. Huh. Y'all, when I say I don't know, can't do parkour as well anymore, I'm not even lying. I used to be decent. Now, let's just say I'm a little cracked. You didn't see that last one.
You know, I'm gonna save this. All right, now I have an idea. Now this idea may not be technically allowed. However, I'd be kicking myself if I didn't at least, you know, give it an old college try, just to say it's possible. Because do I consider this a cheese if I do it? Maybe, I don't know. I don't really know. Because it is technically, but it's also, I guess, using something that I don't think is really allowed. But hey, you gotta try what you got. What I'm attempting to do here is called 1e-7 stepping, because in order to do it, you need to get 1 × 10 to the -7 meters away from a block. And when you do that, the game freaks out, and instead of jumping 1 block, you're able to jump 1.5 blocks. In order to do this trick, there's a lot of variables, but the main one is I have to be on a slab block, or something at slab height. And the reason I'm doing this is because it's the only way I can see that would even feasibly debunk this escape room, or any semblance of a debunk. 1, 1, 1. I did it! I did it! I'm so good at this! I technically did it. I mean, it's kind of cheating. I'm cheesing. Is it in the rules? I don't know. I have to read the rules. Now, did I break a rule? I think so, but I'm not 100% sure. And I could ask the blocked-in staff, but I decided to leave it up to you. Do you think I broke the rules? Do you think I deserve to win? Do you think I deserve to win regardless of if I broke the rules? This leaves me in a moral gray area. I don't know where to sit. On one hand, I want a great ending to my video, and on the other, I want a satisfying ending. But can they both be the same thing at the same time? But I do know that I did beat Bored Yoshi's escape room the intended way as well, just to satisfy anyone who was ever doubting. Alright, so, first things first, I'm gonna do this, that, the other thing. I'm really being descriptive with my words right now. You guys see this? Move over here, break this, and we have all of them now. Perfect! Alright, now all we need to do is leave. Hold the phone. Hold the foam. Never mind. Almost held the foam too much. Okay. Thinking. The only reason I did that was because I was worried I couldn't reach that. What if I can reach that? Ha ha ha! There we go. I did it. All right. I did it both the intended and unintended way. That's crazy. I did it. Wow. I win. I won. I did it. Do you think I won? Do you think I lost? Do you think I even really care? I still debunked half of you in the end. For all intents and purposes, I'm the winner here. And all of you can have a lovely day. See ya.